as an assistant professor in the School of Legal Studies and has a rich background with 4 years of invaluable experience in academia. She serves as the visionary founder of the Center of IPR Strategies and Advancement, catalyzing innovative approaches in the intellectual property rights. With a profound dedication to human rights advocacy, she is a distinguished member of the Center of Human Rights Law and Policy and Illustratio. Her global engagement extends to the International Advisory Board of the Hume Institute of Postgraduation Studies in Switzerland and the Institute of Victimology and Victim Assistance in Tokiwa, Japan. Akansha contributes transcend borders, evidenced by her prolific record of organizing conferences, faculty development programs, workshops, and lectures specializing in intellectual property rights. She is trailblazer in her field. Her expertise encompasses a keen focus on IPR and the advancement of women's rights in research. An eloquent speaker and thought leader, Akansha has graced prestigious national and international platforms with her insights. She has delivered captivating lectures in renowned institutions across the globe, including Staffordshire University. Moreover, her scholarly powers is evidenced by her paper presentations at esteemed venues such as Cambridge University of Law. With her invaluable expertise and dedication to academic excellence, Akansha Madan promises to enrich any conference with her insights and expertise. Now, I'd like ma'am to take over the virtual stage. Ma'am, the stage is all yours now.
Thank you, Tazeen and Sanjay. So, thank you so much for the introduction. So, without wasting any time, we should start with this session. Just let me know whether my screen is visible or not. Uh, okay, so is it visible? I'm sharing from the other ID. Is it visible?
Not yet, ma'am.
Just a second. Uh, Not yet.
Ma'am, you can otherwise mail us. We'll just present on your behalf.
Okay. Try one more time. It's okay. Can I WhatsApp you or okay, I'll mail you, Sanjay.
Yes, ma'am.
I have sent you the mail. Meanwhile, I'll still try to share.
Ma'am, should I present? I have received it, so I'll
Okay.
just share the screen. Right.
Yes.
I hope it is visible to the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So so today I'll be talking about one of the most important topic under the domain of intellectual property rights. But before that, let me give you a background that what is intellectual property right. As the name suggests, there are three terminologies which are used in the full form of IPR. First is intellectual, second is property, and the third one is right. Intellectual property rights means you are creating some property where you are using your whole intellect. And when you create that property, you will get rights over it. For example, suppose if you have written a book, when you write a book, you will use your mind. I'm not talking about copy pasting the book. I'm stating that you have used your intellect to write your book. Or suppose most of the engineering student or law students will be writing their own dissertation work. So when you are writing any project or any book by using your own intellect, then that work will be converted into tangible form, as in the form of book. Now, over that book, you can claim your intellectual property rights. Now, how you will get intellectual property rights? So because books are the matter of copyright, so you'll get certain multiple rights which can be protected or which is provided as a protection under Copyright Act. Similarly, the another domain of intellectual property right is patent. So we all know about innovations and discoveries. Suppose you have invented something, suppose telescope you have invented, which nobody has ever thought about in this world. Suppose you have created some telescope which is able to see Pluto, let's say. Now this such kind of telescope nobody has ever created in the whole world. So this is what you have used your intellect for creating a telescope. Now you have certain monopoly or rights over this telescope. So this is like another domain of IPR which is being protected under intellectual property right, which is like patent. Now there is a third category of intellectual property right, another one of the most important one, which is trademark. So we all use multiple products in our day-to-day life. For example, when we wake up, the first thing we'll do is we'll go to washroom. We'll wash our hands. So most of the people must be having or must be preferring Dettol as the hand wash, or Safflon or Savlon or multiple things, or Patanjali, etc. Now, when we go to a grocery shop, how every hand wash is same, output is same. So, but how we will decide that particular hand wash we should prefer? See, we have multiple criteria. First thing is definitely the quality. So there must be people who have a proper trust over Dettol company, or there must be people who have a proper trust over Lifebuoy company. So they will prefer that only. So how you will find out that this particular hand wash belong to Lifebuoy or this particular hand wash belong to Dettol? By the logo over it. Now this logo plays the whole role. This logo has the power to change the whole market system. These logos are known as trademarks. Now before we move on, what is trademark and how trademark is being protected under IPR, etc., etc., I would like to give you a more background that how come we have reached upon the concept of IPR, how humans got IPR. So there is a very basic understanding that earlier, when humans have found out that they can create goods and sell it to people, talking about the ancient time period. So slowly people, what they have started doing, they used to grow certain thing, they used to create certain stuff, and they used to sell it into their own market. So let's say people in Karnataka will be selling their goods and services into Karnataka only. But slowly they discovered that, okay, there are nearby states also. So they started, selling their goods in nearby state or in the neighboring state. Slowly they realized that there are multiple transportation facilities available by bullock cart or all such things, and they started selling their goods and services to the other country. Now, what was the need to sell goods and services to the other country? The primary need is demand. See, we all know that there are multiple countries in the world. Now, these countries does not have all the resources available. For example, India does not have oil available at a larger context. So we import oil. Or let's say United States or UK, they do not have a good quality milk product, or they do not have mangoes, or they do not have milk fishes, etc. So what they'll do, they will import it from India. So this is how, because we have realized that every territory does not have proper goods and services available. So we started selling our goods to other country, and slowly we move on to services part. This is known as trading. Now, when trading started, people around the world, around the globe, they have different concerns. First concern was the money matter, because India has their own Indian currency. Everyone has, you at that time everywhere were having different types of currencies. So they have decided that we have to come upon one platform, and therefore they have started making certain laws related to trading, that nobody, there should not be any kind of unfair competition. Therefore they have decided to make certain laws on trading. Now, when they have started making certain laws on trading, slowly people started using their own creativity. They've started creating certain work. They have started inventing certain works which requires a lot amount of human intelligence. And then they were like, it's not something we are creating a basket and selling into the market. It is something which has, they have put a lot amount of time, mind, knowledge, etc. So this needs certain specific protection. And from there the idea of intellectual property came into picture. So it was around in 1883, for the first time on international platform, the humans have come up with a convention which is known as Paris Convention. In Paris, there was a treaty signed between multiple countries, and these countries have decided that we are going to protect certain things, such as patent, trademark, etc. Slowly, they thought of protecting copyright as well. So after a few years, they have come up with another convention known as Berne Convention. Now, this Berne Convention used to protect everything related to copyright. But then at that platform, everyone has decided that copyright, patent, trademark, everything will come under the domain of IPR. So the big umbrella is IPR. Under that, we are going to fit everything. But the problem was, there was a separate act for patent, trademark. There was a separate act for copyright. So they wanted to come upon one platform. So during World War II, they have decided to make the strongest, or immediately after, when the World War was about to end, there were like multiple conferences happened between multiple countries. So they have decided that let's make one agreement or one organization which will work for trade. So then they have decided that we should come up with an organization which is known as WTO, World Trade Organization. But every trading requires intelligence, either in the form of trademark, or in the form of patent, or in the form of copyright. Whatever you buy in market requires a huge intelligence. For example, if you're buying a frame which has multiple AI features into it, which is like completely different, nobody has ever thought about it, then there will be a patent protection over it. So similarly, then the humans got a realization that wherever trade is, there IPR will going to exist. I always tell to my students that trade and intellectual property rights, they're like husband and wife. They're like huge lovers who cannot get separated. Wherever trade will go, IPR will follow. Wherever IPR will go, trade will follow. So therefore, when the World Trade Organization was created by humans on international platform, immediately they have decided to create the biggest agreement on intellectual property rights, which is known as TRIPS agreement. And through TRIPS agreement, we have got multiple IPR domains protected under it. Like, this was a one big umbrella where they have fit everything, whether it is patent, trademark, copyright, farmers' right, biodiversity, semiconductors, etc. So this is how we got IPR. And because India is member to TRIPS agreement, therefore it is the responsibility of India to provide the best copyright protection, best trademark protection, best patent protection, and the best protection in the other domains of IPR as well. So now we are going to have an overview upon trademark, because this particular certificate course is only related to trademark. So we'll be solely focusing upon trademark. Now, I hope you have got the background that how we got IPR and how we got trademarks. Now, the biggest question comes into picture, that in copyright, you are using your mind to create a book. But whereas in patent, you are creating multiple inventions, doing discoveries, and they're also using mind. So both the thing, copyright and patent, is justifiable that it should be protected under IPR. But the question is, how come trademark is getting protection under IPR? It is just a simple logo. For example, we have seen most of us must be having Apple phone. It's just a one simple basic Apple. How come this is intellectually created and you are protecting it? Or maybe you must be having laptops. Most of you must be having MacBooks or HP laptop. Now, how come these simple basic looking logos, which can be created by a small 5th standard student also, how come this is being protected under IPR? So we are going to start with this. So first thing, why trademark is protected under IPR? Usually trademark, copyright, and patent, these are like heart and soul of IPR. The reason why they have protected trademark under IPR is so that nobody will unauthorized use other person's goods. For example, if I have a clothing brand with the name Tiara, right? Now if Sanjay sir wants to open a soap company, now he decided that let me use the brand name Tiara because Tiara brand is already famous in world. Can he do that? Not at all possible. Because if he will start his soap company or soap product with the name Tiara, my market will get impacted. How my market is getting impacted? My loyal customers who are purchasing my brand, my clothes from my brand, they must be thinking that whatever soap Mr. Sanjay is creating, that belongs to my company, not belongs to his company. So this is known as unauthorized use. Now, trademark protection stops it. Trademark will never allow such kind of unauthorized use of some other person marks. This will lead to fair competition. Now, again, the question remains the same. Where is the innovation and creativity under trademark, which is making trademark protected under IPR? So on your screen, I have figure out certain reasons. First is, when you create a logo, when you create a logo, it's just a small sketch. Most of the time, most of the people will use lot of intelligence. For example, Amazon logo, AMAZON, and at the end they'll use they'll make an arrow which will connect A to Z. If you focus upon Amazon logo, the arrow starts from A and it will end to Z, not it will end to N. Reason being, because there is a tagline of Amazon that we provide everything starting from A to Z. See, here they have used lot of creativity. But again, this creativity can be thought by anyone, like a school student also. But what makes it special? See, the people, when they create any trademark for a company, after creation of trademark, whatever work they will put into trademark brand development, there the intellect is being used. For example, if I have started a clothing brand again with the name Tiara, I will not be like, okay, I have protected my trademark in the name of Tiara. Now big customers will come to my shop. Deepika Padukone or Shah Rukh Khan kind of people will come and buy product. No, why they will going to buy my products? I have to build a trust. Now, this trust, this quality, this experience, everything will be denoted by one word, which will be called as Tiara, which is my brand name. So, after creating this logo of Tiara, I will put a lot amount of people who will going to encourage or who will going to put a lot of efforts in encouraging my brand development. They will going to motivate, or they will going to bring multiple motivation to the product logo. For example, I'm going to put big pamphlets or big banners in the whole India with multiple Bollywood stars. So that will have an impact on the people or the customers, that okay, multiple Bollywood stars are promoting this brand, definitely this brand must be guaranteeing good quality. Another thing is, I will start selling my products slowly to multiple customers. And if the customer like my product, they will develop a trust over it. But how they are going to recognize, how they are going to differentiate between my product and some other clothing brand? By the logo which I am using. Now, this will eventually lead into healthy market competition. This will lead into creating or protecting the original ideas. So these are the certain reason which tells that why trademark should get protection under intellectual property rights. Now moving on to the next part, what are the functions of trademark? So I'll tell you in detail the meaning definition of trademark, but overall, I'm just telling what is the function of protecting trademark. There are 4 functions. First, this trademark will identify your goods from the other company goods. For example, we have online platforms such as Amazon, Myntra, Snapdeal. Now, why people, if they have to purchase clothes, why they will always open Myntra rather than Snapdeal or Amazon? If they have to purchase any electronic item, why they will open only Amazon rather than Myntra or Snapdeal? The reason is because they have a trust over the brand of Amazon. When it comes to clothing, they have a trust over the brand of Myntra. This is what? This is known as identification. Now, suppose if you go to a grocery shop and because you want to purchase a toothpaste. Now you'll be going to shop, you won't be stating that I need a toothpaste. You'll be stating that, no, I need Colgate, I need Patanjali. And there is possibility most of you must be using Colgate since you were a kid because you have a trust over that brand. This is known as identification. Your Colgate toothpaste, because of its logo and that red and white color strips, which is pasted on the on the toothpaste packaging, that will differentiate Colgate toothpaste with the Patanjali toothpaste, and you will not be mistaken. So if you like Colgate, you are going to buy Colgate by looking at the logo only. You are not going to open the bottle and taste it. Okay, it tastes like Colgate or not. Or open the bottle and you will taste it. Oh, this tastes like Miswak or not. No, you just need to see the logo. So this is known as identification. This is the first function of trademark. Another function is source. If someday Colgate will start making its soap or hair wash or shampoo, people who have a trust over Colgate company, they're definitely going to buy it. Why? Because that one logo will tell you what is the source of the new product. Dove, we all know about Dove. Dove started as a shampoo company, shampoo brand. The first product they have launched into market was Dove shampoo. Now, slowly they have launched Dove soap, or maybe vice versa, whatsoever. So, slowly, suppose they have started developing their soap. People who have blind trust over Dove shampoo, they have started purchasing Dove soap also. Why? Not because some big celebrity was doing the advertisement, but because the logo, because they have a trust over Dove company. They knew that even if Dove will going to make any skincare product, definitely they are going to buy. Why? Because they trust the source from where the products are coming. So this source is the second function of trademark. Third function is quality. If suppose you have 5,000 rupees money and you want to purchase shoes, you are definitely going to buy Adidas or Reebok rather than purchasing Adidas or Reebok, which is in 500 rupees or 600 rupees. Why? Because when you have a sufficient amount of money, you will always prefer quality, right? Our parents used to say, no, brand ka hai, le lo, it's a brand, le lo, company ka product hai, le lo. So this thing is since starting. Why? Because one company or one brand or one trademark is guaranteeing you that amount of quality. Okay. And the last one is advertisement. Through logo, it is very easy to advertise. You might have seen the recent lifestyle campaign. They have made a very beautiful video where there is a very famous pop singer, Paresh something. So he narrated a poetry, and he's just roaming on beach wearing nice clothes, and there is no logo, nothing of lifestyle at the background, and he's narrating very beautiful poem. And at the end, when the advertisement get over, they'll just put a logo of lifestyle. And what you will understand, yeah, all the clothes which he was wearing in the whole video, that belongs to lifestyle. And immediately you'll rush to the nearby mall, nearby lifestyle store, and you will purchase it. How? Because this logo is helping to advertise. Okay. Now, what is the objective of protecting trademark? There are two major objectives. First, it protect public. How it is protecting public? It is telling you which one is authentic, which one is not. So this is one of the major objective of trademark. And the second objective is it protect the business of owner, or it protect the trademark of the owner. It protect the goodwill of owner. Imagine you go to a local shop or street shop. You will find Adidas shoes in hardly 300, 500 rupees. If strictly look upon the shoe, you will realize that the spelling of Adidas is ABIDAS, and then immediately you will realize, no, this is not the original product, and that is why you are getting in 300 or 500 rupees. But if you have the right knowledge of logo, you will end up purchasing right product, and this will help the company to develop a right goodwill. Right? So these are certain objectives and functions. Can somebody please change the slide? Next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Now, coming upon what is a trademark. So there are two words which makes trademark. One is trade, second is mark. Trade means when you are buying or selling goods and services between people or between multiple businesses, countries, etc. And in return, you are taking something. For example, if I'm selling you clothes, either you're giving me money or you're giving me some of your product, which is popularly known as barter system, which used to exist earlier, but right now it's not there. So mostly the goods and services are being exchanged in the terms of money. And this will improve the economy of any country. This is known as trading. Now, what is mark? Mark means anything. It can be name, it can be logo, it can be slogan, it can be sound, it can be color, it can be combination. Now, when this trade and mark come together, it becomes trademark. So suppose you start a shoe business, okay, shoes business, and you start selling it into the people, into the public. Now, people are badly liking your shoes. It's quite cheaper and it's very comfortable. So people are liking your shoes. Now, how they will get to know that if they want to purchase your shoes again? How they will identify your shoes? By the mark which you are using over your shoe. This is known as trademark. When you're bringing some goods and services in front of the people and you're putting a mark over it, which will help the people to identify which product belongs to you, this mark is known as trademark. And why it is known as trademark? Why it is not known as trade? Because this mark is helping you in your trading. That is why it is known as trademark. Otherwise, they would have called it as mark. Now what is trademark? So trademark, I hope you might have understood. Now there are two symbols how you can understand, or there are two symbols which are denoting trademark. So next slide please. Yeah, Adidas. See, if you can see Adidas, there is a very small R written in a circle. I hope everyone can see. Wherever R with a circle is mentioned, it means the trademark is registered by a proper authentic channel. So maybe tomorrow you will be having class that how to register a trademark. Tomorrow you will get to know that how to the whole procedure. So this company of Adidas has followed the complete procedure and they got their trademark registered. That is why the logo is R in a circle. Whereas if you focus upon this Starbucks logo, they've just written TM, which means this is not registered. But because Starbucks is a very well-known company. Nobody can breach this trademark. How? What is known as well-known brand? In today's lecture, we are going to cover that also. So right now, I just wanted you to understand that if R with a circle is there, it means the trademark is registered. If only TM is written, it means trademark is not registered. So this is the old logo of Starbucks. Now Starbucks has also get their trademark registered. Next slide. Okay. Now, what is the meaning and definition of trademark? First thing, this I have already told you that trademark signifies from which source the product is coming and what is the quality of product. For example, Adidas used to make shoes. Now they have also started making the track suits as well. So on the track suit, they will put their own logo. So this will tell you two things, that this tracksuit belongs to Adidas company. So this is telling you the source. And because you have a blind trust over, you have a faith over the quality of the Adidas or the quality over the products which is made by Adidas company. So this will bring the second objective. So trademark signifies two things, the source from which is coming and what is the quality. Okay, so as per, so we have a Trademark Act of 1999. This Trademark Act defines trademark. So the definition goes like this: a trademark means a mark which is capable of being represented graphically and which is capable of distinguishing the goods and services of one person from those of other. Bit confusing, no? Such a big definition. So we'll just divide it into bits and pieces. Next slide, please. Okay. This slide will help you understand the meaning of trademark with just now the definition which just now I have read. So this definition, if we divide it into three parts. So if you want to make a trademark, if you want that your mark should be called as a trademark, these are the three essential elements which should get fulfilled. First, there should be a mark. Now, what is mark? After this, we are going to discuss. So in short, mark can be a name, logo, color, symbol, etc. Anything. Second, this mark which you have created, it should be capable of being represented graphically. Now, represented graphically means it should be visible through your eyes. It should be either in the electronic form or it can be, printed, or you can create a sketch of it. Represented graphically means your eyes can see it, or you are having a visual representation of it. This is known as represented graphically. So two elements. First is you should be having one mark, and second is this mark is representing or represented graphically. For example, let's say I have okay, I don't have any product nearby me. Okay, so this notebook, so this Berger, so this is what graphically represented. How you will tell that this is graphically represented? Because you can see the mark. So whenever any mark is visible, that means it should be represented graphically. And the third element is the mark should be capable of distinguishing the goods and services of one person from those of another. This means that whatever mark you have created, it should be different from the other mark. For example, again, coming upon the toothpaste thing. So we have Colgate, Patanjali, Miswak, Sensodyne. Okay, 4 toothpaste. Now, how you will, everyone is giving toothpaste only. Okay, some different change in flavor. Now, how you will find out that which one is Colgate, which one is Sensodyne, which one is Miswak, and which one is Patanjali? By the logo, by the mark, which is represented graphically. So trademark means any mark which is visible and that mark is able to differentiate one goods from another. For example, like Colgate, it is written in white color and the packaging is like red and white. Sensodyne, complete white packaging and Sensodyne written in white with a blue border. Miswak, completely yellow packaging and Miswak written in such a manner that they've put some herbs, trees, etc. Patanjali, I don't remember. So this is what they have, their own specific mark, which is differentiating goods, differentiating every single toothpaste from one another. This is known as trademark. Okay, moving on to next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so I have told you that trademark should be a mark. Now we will understand what is mark. There are two types of mark. One is known as traditional mark, which we generally use, and one is known as non-traditional mark or modern mark, which right now most of the country is not protecting, but certain forms of modern marks people are protecting. Like in India also, we have a very limited protection of modern marks. So one by one, we are going to understand it. Next slide, please. To start with, we'll be starting with traditional mark. So what is mark? The definition of mark is given under Trademark Act under section number 2(1) subclause 1. Now, as per this definition, they tells that what all things can be covered under mark. So the first thing which can be called as mark is device. They use in the definition, they have used the word device. Device means pictorial or picture representation of anything. See, I have I have put a picture over here. On the left side there are device mark, on the right side there are word marks. Word mark means whatever written in word. Device marks means any picture. So Fanta, the picture of Fanta, it's a device mark. The picture of Amul is a device mark. The picture of Swiggy, it's a device mark. Means you are able to see visually through your eyes, and it is like picturized in a pictorial form. Okay. Next slide. The another thing which is covered under mark is, next slide please. Brand. Okay. Brand means any, no. Go to the previous one. Brand. Yeah. Brand means symbol branded on a goods. For example, when you go to McD, you'll get a nice cover. They'll put this M. Okay. When you have Apple phones, there will be a apple, half-eaten apple. This is what? This is a symbol which is branded on a good. So this is known as brand mark. This is also called as mark. Third, next slide. Third is heading, which is also known as inscription. See, when it comes to trademark law, they have not clearly defined what do they mean by heading. But as per multiple judgments, the understanding of heading means, as in, see, you can see the tick mark which is used for Nike brand. Okay, this particular thing is called as heading. Means they're using something upon which they can write it down their brand name. This is actually known as heading. So even this can be created as a mark, and this can be protected as a mark. Similarly, you are seeing this McDonald golden arches, which is like a very prominent icon. So what they are doing, how they have represented, there is a plate below it, and this McDonald is being represented in golden color. This is known as heading mark. Okay. Another category of mark is next slide. Labels. See, we might have seen, no, for example, there are like very multiple homegrown or made in India brand. What they will do, they will, or most of the brand, like if you buy a Levi's jeans, at the back of the jeans there will be a label of Levi's. If you're buying Adidas clothes, there will be a label of Adidas at the back inside of shirt, t-shirt, whatever you are purchasing. This is known as label. Even the label can be marked. For example, two pictures I have put. One is of Mufti. This particular thing is known as label. Okay, so it can be either printed on the paper, or it can be either pasted on the paper, or it can be either attached on the paper. So this can also be considered as mark. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is very interesting. So if any one of you have attended any WWE match, or most of us have been into flights, so the another category of mark is ticket. So there are two things. Either these things are being stitched on the goods which you are selling, or it can be in the form of ticket. For example, if you buy a Air India ticket, see in the picture I have mentioned, so there is a Jakarta to New York Air India ticket. When you see the ticket, when you see the boarding pass, you'll be able to find out that this is an Air India ticket. Sorry, this is an Akasa Airline ticket. Similarly, you will be able to differentiate Akasa Airline ticket with Indigo ticket, or you'll be able to differentiate Air India ticket, which is like kind of red in color, to Indigo ticket. Or for example, if you have attended any WWE match, they have a very unique kind of ticket. So these tickets, they will made in such a form, this will be identified as a logo. For example, if suppose even the IPL tickets, or if you went into certain concerts, these concert tickets will be very appealing to you. It's not like bus ticket or a train ticket. It will be very appealing to you. Why? Because they have put a creativity which will differentiate this ticket with the other tickets. So even the tickets can also be considered as or categorized as a trademark. Next slide, please. Next is, even you can use your name, surname, name of the firm, name of the family, name of your kid, name of your dog, name of your company, or any abbreviation or any domain name as trademark. For example, Khaitan Power. Khaitan is a surname. They have used it as a trademark. Anand Sweets. Most of the people from Bangalore, they must be knowing about Anand Sweets. What they have done, they have used a normal name. Anand is a normal name. They have used name as a trademark. Then firms. So here I have put example of Swarupa Ghosh law firm, etc. So they can also use their own name as the trademark name. And the last one is domain name. Sportsdirect.com is the most popular domain name. You can have, suppose you are selling, you have started a bakery shop, you can definitely name your bakery shop as anand.com. So it's not necessary that domain name should always be associated to internet. You can have your mark with domain name as well. So this is another category of mark which can be trademark. Next category, next slide. Signature. We all know about Disney. We all know about Paul Smith brand. So here, this is their logo. This is not something they have hired someone and then they have created this logo. It's the owner's signature. So if you remember, like the wife of Shah Rukh Khan, Gauri Khan, she has started her clothing brand in between, where she used to sell the signature collection. So what she has done, she has her brand was Gauri Khan in her own signature, and she used to sell the clothes over it. So even your signature can become the brand, or signature can become a trademark. Okay, next slide. Word, letter, and number. There was this very old soap, if you can see in picture, Super 555, Super 555, very old soap which used to exist in my parents' time period. So what they have done, they have just simply used three numbers, 555. So even the numbers can become trademark, or a word can become trademark. For example, Nestle, or a letter can become trademark. Facebook letter, you can see Google letter, Superman letter. So all these things are trademark. So even a word, letter, and number can become mark. Next slide. Okay, this is interesting. Shape of good as trademark. You know, Coca-Cola bottle, if you see, if you have never noticed, today after the lecture, go and buy a nice glass wala Coca-Cola bottle and compare it with Pepsi bottle, and you will see that Coca-Cola bottle has a particular shape and structure. And for the first time, this shape of Coca-Cola got protected in Japan. Even the way how you are packaging your goods, that is also protected as a mark. Suppose you buy a Synthol soap and you buy a Dove soap. Without their packaging, you will be able to differentiate and tell which one is Synthol, which one is Dove without smelling it. Synthol, it looks like a normal oval kind of shape, whereas Dove has another different 3D oval kind of shape. So even you can get shape of goods also as a trademark. For example, this chocolate also, it has multiple triangle. So it's not like intentionally they have put it. So if you purchase this particular brand, you'll be able to find out which chocolate it is, because of how it is being packed, because of how it is being created. Similarly, like those who smoke, no offense, but similarly, if you purchase a cigarette packet, so Marlboro, which is like a popular brand, their packaging is completely different from the other cigarette packets. This is what? This is the packaging. Even for example, Colgate toothpaste, that red and white color stripe, this is what packaging. So even the packaging can also be considered as a trademark. Next slide. Okay. So that packaging, the previous slide, that was a modern mark which is protected in India. I'll be telling you modern mark separately also, because right now that packaging comes under the category of modern mark which India protects. Another modern mark which India protects is color and combination of color. For example, if you can see that Cadbury trademark, it's just a blue color and a white color. You can protect it. Okay. But if you see Mountain Dew, it has multiple color, dark green, green and red color. So even a single color and even a combination of color can also become trademark. For example, if you see Coca-Cola completely red, single color. Then McDonald's, golden color, single color. But there are, see, if you see in your house only, wherever you are sitting, if you see multiple goods or the marks on it, they must be having either a single color or combination of color. This is also protected under trademark. Next slide. This is interesting. It's not necessary that you have to pick any one category from the mark for, let's say, color or only combination of color. No, even all the multiple category of mark which I have told you, like device, ticket, label, color, etc. Even they can bring together and you can create one mark. For example, if you see this picture of McDonald's, what they have done first is how McDonald's is being written. This is what name or a word mark. Second, in that McDonald's, behind there is a background of red color. So what they have done, they have used one color, but in the mixture of word and color both. Then if you see that M, so what is M? It represents a letter mark. And M is in golden color. So what they have done, they have used multiple category of mark and then they have come up with one mark. If you see the picture of Puma or the logo of Puma, so what they have done, they've written Puma, white color, background red color, and then there is a animal representing the logo. So again, multiple color, and similar with Adidas also. So these are traditional marks. Next slide. Now we have a category of non-traditional mark. Non-traditional mark means any mark. Next slide, please. Okay. Non-traditional marks means any mark which is going beyond the basic traditional word, logo, symbols mark, such as a 3D mark or a shape of good is a non-traditional mark. So non-traditional mark is also known as modern mark right now because people are having so much of creativity. So they are coming up with different level of marks. So for example, I'll tell you, this is like very interesting example. In UK, there was a Dutch company. This Dutch company creates a tennis ball which has, like, whenever, every time, like suppose if you're using tennis ball for 10 years, for complete 10 years, whenever you smell that tennis ball, it will give you a fragrance of some citrus, rose, and a fresh grass smell. You know, these Dutch company, they went to trademark office in UK and they're like, protect this smell as a trademark. Imagine, see, right now I've told you a huge list of mark, but nowhere we have studied that smell can be protected as trademark. Why? Because it comes under the category of modern mark or non-traditional mark. So this Dutch company went to UK trademark office and they're like, see, our tennis ball, it smells so different. Even if you put it into mud, take it out, smell it, it will give you a similar smell. So we want this smell to be protected for our ball. And you won't believe UK has protected it. But this smell mark is nowhere protected in India. Similarly, there is a mark known as taste mark. Suppose you have created something, let's say chocolate, which tastes quite different, and you want to take a monopoly over it. You will ask the trademark office to protect that particular trade. This is known as trademark, which is again protected in some other part of the world, but not in India. Now, there is a thing called field mark. So suppose if you're touching some good and you have a very, a kind of feeling which you have never witnessed, people can take protection on field mark also. But again, in India, we don't have such protection. Another type of modern mark is packaging of goods, which I have told you, and colors, mixture of color. There is one more interesting mark which is protected in India, which is known as motion mark. So we all go to multiplex or watch multiple movies in theaters or on OTT platforms, etc. So whenever a movie starts, most of you might have seen Karan Johar movie. Movie will start, and then there is a motion picture will come, a red color background, and then there will be a Sudarshan Chakra, and they will write Dharma with multiple color. This is also known as mark, but it is in motion. Or you might have seen the production house of Phantom, or let's say Disney only. We all have seen Disney cartoons. So there is this a lion will be roaring. So what is this? This is known as motion mark. So whenever that lion will come into picture, we'll be like, okay, this is a movie of Disney, right? So these are known as motion mark, and these are called as modern marks. Okay. So, okay, next slide. Okay, next slide will give you actually the different categories of modern marks, such as color mark. This I have told you. Sound mark. So yeah, sound mark is quite interesting. Whenever you turn on your Netflix and immediately there is a sound like tudum, this is known as sound mark. So even Netflix got it protected. Or Nokia. Nokia has a Nokia has a ringtone, which we all know that this belongs to Nokia. They've taken trademark over it. So that Nokia tune is also a modern mark which can be protected as a trademark. Or else, the first sound which got protected in India was Yahoo. Whenever you open Yahoo, it's not in picture now. Yahoo has stopped working. So earlier, maybe like the people who have taken birth in 90s, they might have used Yahoo. So if you just open Yahoo, it's like a browsing thing like we have Google. Open it, immediately there is a tin kind of sound. That is sound mark. Now the other thing is shape mark. This I have told you, that Coca-Cola bottle example. Scent mark, that tennis ball example. Motion mark, that picture motion or Disney motion. That is that. Touch and texture mark I have told you. And the last is taste mark. Okay, so for example, if suppose you have made a medicine of fever, but everyone knows that medicines are so bitter, so you have given a nice taste to the medicine, which is like having a strawberry vanilla kind of mixture or a chocolatey taste, and then you can protect that also under trademark. But again, disclaimer, not allowed in India till now. Next category, next slide. Okay, we have two more category of trademark, which is collective mark and certificate mark. Collective mark is some mark which is being collectively owned by a corporation or a business association. For example, Reliance. Reliance has multiple brands, multiple brands. They have a grocery also, they have a clothing brand also, they have an oil company also, etc. But everywhere they'll use one logo. This is known as collective trademark. Or let's say Adidas. Adidas, one company but different products. They must be having their own cycle, their bottle, their shoes, their clothing brand. Everyone has one mark. This is known as collective trademark. Another biggest example is Khadi Udyog, like which is being owned by government. So wherever Khadi Udyog products are being made, they'll put one common mark. Another thing is CA certificate. So chartered accountant, all the members of ICAI, they will use only one mark, which you can see on the left side of the screen, that's CA India. So these are known as collective trademark. Collective trademark basic feature, only the members of that company can use it. You have to take the membership if you want to use the product or use the mark. another important thing is it is being owned by multiple association of people. Okay. Next slide. Another category of trademark is certificate trademark. Certificate trademark means whenever we go and purchase gold, mothers will check ISI mark. So this is certificate mark. Certificate mark means it will tell you the quality of product, the originality of the product, the material of the product, the mode how it is being manufactured. So if it is a ISI mark gold, that means this is a pure gold. This is not imitated gold. Okay. Or if you buy food products, so this food authorities, they'll put a logo over the packets, so that will tell you, okay, this is being associated to food products, so the quality will be good. So these are known as certificate trademark. Means these are being owned only by certifying authority, not by the owner. And these certificate marks will tell you the quality of the product. So certain examples like ISI mark, egg mark, which is being used for agriculture product, and wool mark, which is only being used for pure wool products. Okay. So these are certain categories of trademark. Now we have like very small topic left for session number 1. Second slide, next slide, please. This is the last topic for session number 1. Then we'll take a break of 5 minutes. So my last topic, which was given by Sanjay sir, is what is the importance of trademark in business and brand identity? So there are certain multiple importance. First is it will give you legal recognition under the law, which means that if your trademark is protected under the Trademark Act, then whosoever is breaching it, you can file a case against that person. For example, if I own a clothing brand with the name Tiara, and if Mr. Sanjay is trying to make a soap brand, and he's using my company's brand name, in that situation, because my company brand name is registered through a proper channel, so I can file a case against Mr. Sanjay, and I can take a huge amount of compensation from him for using my mark. So this is why this is happening, because your mark has got legal recognition. And how you will get legal recognition? If you protect your trademark through a proper channel legally. Okay. Second is your trademark. Why trademark is important for business? Because it protects your brand identity. This I have already told you, that how customer will going to recognize that whether this particular product belongs to you or not, by seeing your logo. So what that logo is doing, that logo is creating a brand identity for you. Okay. Third is it grants exclusive legal right. It means that if suppose your trademark is protected under your name, then you will get multiple legal right. Multiple legal rights. Suppose if somebody is trying to copy your logo, you can file a case. Somebody is trying to make like first copy of your goods, then you can file a case. Okay, I'll tell you one very interesting thing. Most of you must be thinking that ma'am is talking about brand, protection of brand, and the brands are being protected by law, etc., etc. Then how come Adidas shoes are being sold in local market for 500 rupees with a different spelling? And how come Reebok shoes is being sold in Reebok name? How come Mufti is being sold in Mufti TTI? How come this is being allowed? Are they doing illegal business? No. There is one important rule you always remember with trademark. Whatever brand you are selling, whatever product you are selling, that product is only protected into a particular territory. Territory? What territory? Territory means the people who can afford those brands. If in front of those people, if somebody is selling the copy of your brand, then there will be a case of infringement. Otherwise, no. For example, Louis Vuitton bags or a Chanel lipstick, which is like very costly. Do you really think a poor class family or a lower middle class family were ever going to buy Louis Vuitton bag? They can buy a car rather than buy a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Or they will ever going to buy a Chanel lipstick? With the cost of one price of Chanel lipstick, they can buy 10 other local brand lipstick, Lakme and all such thing. So if Louis Vuitton bag first copy is being sold into the market where the high people or the rich people who are able to afford Louis Vuitton brand are purchasing their products, if you are selling your first copy in that market, only then there will be a case against you. Otherwise, no. This is the most important part of trademark. Okay. Another thing is strengthen business value. So one mark will strengthen business value. For example, Adidas started with a shoe brand. Later on, they have launched their multiple product. So why they are able to sell their multiple product with a high demand? Because of their first product, they have developed their business value in the name of Adidas. Another thing is it boosts marketing and advertisement. Simply nowadays, advertisement are very interesting. You show all the nonsense and at the end, you just put your logo, done. This is what intellectual advertisement. But that simple mark will tell you that this particular advertisement or the product belongs to you. Simple. Next slide, please. The other reason why trademark is important for business, another thing is it builds customer trust. See, you are purchasing Colgate since your childhood. You're using the same toothpaste. Why? Because you have trust over that packet which is like packaged in red and white strips and a Colgate written over it. So why you are purchasing that thing? Because you have a trust over it. Another reason is it encourage innovation and creativity. This I have told you in the starting. Next is it help you in expanding the business globally. For example, Reliance is the biggest example. Adani is the biggest example. One logo, famous around the world. Trump is also talking about Ambani. Trump is also talking about Adani. This is what this one mark is getting a huge brand exposure. And the last one is long time protection. It means that if suppose you get your trademark protected through a proper channel, you will get protection for 10 years. But that does not mean after 10 years anyone can steal your trademark. No. When your 10 years are supposed to get over, in the last 6 months, you go and renew it. Simple. And you can renew it for as much as period of time you want. 1,000 years, 20,000 years, till the time Kali Yuga is there, you can renew it. Nobody will restrict you. Okay. But there is one rule. You can only renew if your mark is in working condition. If you have stopped the company and you are still renewing it, the registry office will say no to it. So mark should be in working condition. So this is all about session number 1. Is there any doubt to anyone? Any queries?
Yeah, ma'am. This territorial thing only, if you can give an example where they are counterfeiting the original trademark.
Okay.
You see from even like maybe if you see international markets like China also, that's a huge market.
When we talk about international, I got your question. Thank you so much. See, in international market, this is actually a problem in trademark because it is very difficult to identify in international market. So this breach is happening. This is like one of the biggest legal issues we are having. But generally, there are like suppose if you have a company which is having an international exposure, your company will be having a separate watchdog team. This team will keep an eye on market whether any person is selling the first copy or imitated goods which belongs to your company. So they have to do their own arrangement. And once they will find out that okay, somebody is selling the goods which is not from your company but they are using your logo, then you can file a case. But normally the rule is why the Adidas and even see I'll tell you one more example. China is making Banarsi sari, right? We all know the importance of Banarsi sari. The starting price of Banarsi sari is like 4,000 5,000 rupees, the plain one. Now China is selling Banarsi sari in 400 500 rupees. Where they are selling, they are not allowed to sell these Banarsi saris in the authentic Banarsi shop. Rather than they are allowed to sell these Banarsi sari in local shop. If suppose your mother wants to buy the authentic Banarsi sari, she will never going to buy it from the local shop because she knew that it is the artificial one. It is not the original one. So if she wants to buy the original Banarsi sari, she'll definitely go to the authentic Banarsi store. Giving you the same example of Louis Vuitton. Suppose if you are able to afford a Louis Vuitton bag costing around 10 lakh rupees, suppose, let's say. Are you going to go into local market and buy a Louis Vuitton bag? No. You're definitely going to go to an authentic Louis Vuitton store. Now, if in Louis Vuitton store, somebody is selling imitated or the artificial Louis Vuitton bag, then you have the right to file a case. Otherwise, no. Have you understood the context?
Yeah, correct.
You want me to give you more example or you have understood it?
Yeah, ma'am. So in that case, anyone can imitate, right? It's
Yeah,
just
anyone can
they say-
imitate. The only restriction is don't sell in the market where it is originally being sold. You can
Yeah.
open your own company with the name Abibas, ABIBAS, which looks like almost Adidas. So the labor people who are not able to afford the Adidas shoes, they can purchase your shoes and they can show off into their community that this is a branded shoes. You can definitely do that. There is no restriction on that. The restriction is you cannot create imitated goods and sell it into the real original market of Adidas. Clear?
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So if you're doing so, then the company will file a case against you and that will be a mess up thing. Any other question? Okay. It seems there are no questions. So time is 6:11. We'll be back by 6. Sanjay sir?
Yes, ma'am.
6:60.
So, sure, ma'am. We'll have a short break of 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll just put a timer. By 6:20, we'll get back here for the session 2.
6:20. Okay. So the session 2, let's say because we are already delayed because of the technical issue I was facing, I'll try to finish it on time. Okay. 6:20 will be back. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.